This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Chelsea. Chelsea is a champion surfer, so she's accustomed to moving super fast, which is why she relies on super fast broadband brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her family sharing and surfing and saving each month. Combined, she bundles her Flow mobile, home phone, and TV services, so she can enjoy much more for much less, and so can you. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
Welcome to this Barbados Today news update for Thursday, September 22. Thank you for joining us. I'm Desmond Brown. The debate over the decriminalization of marijuana continues over the next 2 days. The Cayville campus of the University of the West Indies opened a symposium this morning on the topic, Perpetual Problem or Potential Problem Solver for Barbados. Pro-Vice Chancellor of Undergraduate Studies, Professor Alan Cobley, says it is an important and a timely discussion as the marijuana debate is moving from the fringes to the mainstream.
The global debate on marijuana, as I was saying, has been transformed in recent years by various developments. They include the growing scientific evidence of the efficacy of marijuana use for medical purposes, the decriminalization of the use of the drug for recreational purposes in some places, and the consequent emergence of the growing and selling of marijuana as a legitimate and potentially lucrative business. Here in the Caribbean, of course, there has always been a debate about the efficacy of marijuana, driven especially by our brethren and sisters in the Rastafarian community. But historically, that debate has happened largely at the margins of public discourse. Now that debate is moving into the mainstream.
This farmer questioned the absence of the Attorney General from the forum.
How could you still don't want to have an open discussion amongst your people who had helped elect you to the House of Parliament? But you can come and the papers and talk what you like. This is the first time the Attorney General ever been invited. Be the simple South constituency who he represents. We hold discussion years ago and invite him, and he refused to come and sit amongst the people who mark an X to put in there.
Severed National Conservation Commission workers could be receiving their compensation as early as the end of next week. Speaking with Barbados Today, General Secretary of the National Union of Public Workers, Rosalind Smith, said the nearly 2-year wait is almost over. Smith said officers at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs are working feverishly on the matter and would be sending authorization to the NCC to pay the workers. In handing down the highly anticipated ruling on July 15, during an almost 3-hour session, Tribunal Chairman Hal Gallup, QC, said the decision by the NCC not to consult with the workers or the NUPW, along with its failure to recognize the union as the workers' bargaining agent, was a breach of their constitutional rights. Chairman of the National Assistance Board, Senator David Durant, has told the daughter of centenarian Clement Whitstanley Holdip to take her father in. The elderly man has been living next door to Lorna Brooks in a termite-infested shack that threatens to collapse at any moment. Anesta Henry has this report.
Holdup's plight was highlighted in the September 9 edition of Barbados Today. The same day, he celebrated his 100th birthday. So bad were the condition of the wooden structure where the blind man has lived for many years that his centenary celebration with Governor General Sir Elliot Belgrave had to be held at his daughter Lenora Brooks' residence. At that time, his relatives had pleaded with the authorities to help the elderly man repair the house, since according to Brooks, he had refused to move in with her and she had spent what little she had to do some improvements to the property. When Durant visited the centenarian yesterday, he was at Brooks' residence. The daughter said she had taken her father in because the rotten house could fall apart at any time. But after touring the dilapidated structure, Durant declared that Holdip simply could not be moved back there and told Brooks he hoped her father would spend his last days at her home.
I thought, why does he stay there, right? Instead of then being removed and carried back into this house, which is really in need of so much repairs. It's leaking, it's leaning, it's dilapidated, it's termite eaten, you know. So I'm glad that he's staying with the daughter now, and he can live the rest of his life there, you know, whatever years God has to add to him, or however longer it is.
Duran said he had visited the family with the intention of finding out more about their situation, because he believes that families should be the first to help. Anesta Henry reporting.
In sports, Barbadian jockey Juan Crawford crawled into double figures for the first time this season when he produced a double on the 8th race card at Fort Erie this week. The 37-year-old opened his account with victory in race 2 with rank outsider R. Dancehall before following up by winning race 8 with favorite Gluten Free. He now has 12 wins for the season, which kicked off on May 31 and lies 8th, 16 behind Jamaican leader Kirk Johnson on 28. Melanie Pinto is back in second, Amy Auger is third on 25, while veteran Barbadian Chris Griffith is fourth on 23. Crawford reached the winner's circle for the first time when he paired with 6-year-old Bay Gelding R. Dancehall to beat the 3-year-old and upwards by 2 lengths.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
In regional news, in the face of a mounting chorus of discontent over its level of service to the flying public, a former top executive has rushed to the defense of regional carrier Liat. President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Warren Smith, told Barbados today when it came to the issue of improving efficiency, it was a case easier said than done.
It's easier said than done because the network that Liat operates is a difficult network. It is also an expensive network by the very nature of the operation. The very thin routes, meaning very limited passenger uptake on these routes because of the small size of the countries, but also the frequent stopping and starting, which is part and parcel of the thin route structure, makes it very expensive. Also, the need to fly over water and land at airports that are very close to the sea also adds to the operating costs of the airline.
The main opposition St. Lucia Labour Party has given the Alan Chastanet administration a failing grade after 100 days in office. SLP leader Philip Pear said the government, which came to office following the June 6 general elections this year, has not managed to introduce most of the promises made during the election campaign, and proves what the SLP has been saying, that they made too many unrealistic promises. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet told a news conference on Monday that in addition to being saddled with an economy in a far worse state than anticipated, the former SLP administration had made things difficult for his administration as a result of decisions it took on the eve of the general elections. On the international scene, after violent protests raged for a second night in Charlotte over the police shooting of a black man, one big question remains. Why hasn't the police footage been released? Charlotte Mayor Jennifer Roberts said she will review the footage today. She said the police department has both dash cam and body camera footage of the Keith Lamont Scott shooting. But Officer Brentley Vincent said the black officer who shot Scott was not wearing a body camera. It is still not clear if or when the video will be released. That's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website www.barbadostoday.bb. Also, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are on Izumi Media in the bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV. I'm Desmond Brown.